in the art world. So today we're in Dubai with the wonderful Mojgan Barbe. From her collection, she curated this wonderful exhibition. But before going and showing us all the 16 artists that you have with you, could you tell us a bit about your inspiring artistic journey, Mojgan?
Hello, welcome to Dubai Expo 2020, and so we are at this space that belongs to MR in downtown Dubai. That's called Foundry, and they invited me to come and make this exhibition, and I'm in the biggest room, and I'm very pleased and very honored to be here. And I would like to, I'm going to give you a little bit about myself, about how I got involved in art. I come from a family of art and culture, and I grew up with my father and my aunt.
Mojgan, the voice went away. Mojgan, the voice went a bit away. Can you hear? All? No, it's only me. Mojgan? Hello. That's the beauty of the diretta, of live. Mojgan, we can't hear you. Well, I hope, I wish I could. Yes, Mojgan, can you hear me? So very soon, I think this a little.
If you just kick her out from the room, well, she's supposed to back to the room and we can hear her.
Yes, but I think they. I'm not okay. Francois, can you help me?
I can't, I'm afraid. I think what's happening is her friend has put a finger on the microphone.
Yes. Okay, that's unfortunately the live. As I said, the beauty of the live. Unfortunately, they can't hear me either because.
Yeah, let me try and send a message.
Yes. Mojgan, we couldn't hear. I'm sorry. There was. We even did a trial test. Yes, Mojgan, we couldn't hear. I'm sorry because there was the sound went away. We actually did a test the other day with Mojgan, and everything went fantastic. So just give us a bit of a few minutes. Mojgan, I'm so sorry. You're very far away, Mojgan.
Put it in like.
Hello. Hello.
Yes. Yes. Now we can hear you. Now we can hear you.
Did you hear anything when I said?
We just started hello and then we lost.
Cut. Okay. So now I will start all over again. I was 19 years old when I went to the US to study. My sister was at École des Beaux-Arts in Paris. And I went to the US and I studied political science and sociology. And then when I came to see my family in France, I met my French husband, we got married. So we did 4 years in Paris, 3 years in Tokyo, 10 years in London, and 15 years in Geneva. As a student, when I was a student in the US, I used to go to the art exhibitions and buy artworks. And since I couldn't afford it, I would make 2 payments. And I do the same thing at this exhibition. When young people come, because I want to encourage young collectors to also start buying artworks. You know, it's great to have a Chanel bag, but it's also great to help also artists and encourage artists with collecting art. So I started my art career probably as a curator in Japan, in Tokyo. I met many Japanese artists through a colleague of my husband. And I started the first exhibition in Japan, Tokyo, in my Japanese home with the tatami. And I exhibited one Japanese artist who I knew and I really liked. for 1 month in my house. And then it followed in London. When I was in London, I used to go to art schools and discover creative and good artists. And then I exhibited one French, one Colombian, and one Japanese artist who's now with Victoria Miro, the Japanese artist I discovered in Tokyo. Then it followed to Switzerland, and there in Switzerland, until Switzerland, I was working only with international artists. But then I exhibited because I was working as a curator with Gallery Kasia Hildebrand.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm not good at this. Anyway, so I got my hearing back. So when I was curating for Kasia Hildebrand, my friend who was a collector, and so I worked as a curator with her for 2 years, and we exhibited Farhad Moshiri, who's now a very famous artist and who's working with Galerie Perrotin and other international galleries. So from that time, I decided that the Iranian artists are really working hard, but they don't have much representation internationally. Yes. And that's why I started focusing on Iranian artists. And I'm a curator, I'm a patron, and also a collector, but I don't want to be, I'm not a gallerist. So these are young artists that I discover. Hopefully that I'll find galleries internationally who could represent them.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you. I think to give a voice, this is, I think it's very, very important, especially nowadays. And I, again, thank you from all of us for what you do. I think it's wonderful and inspiring. But you could we go, I think, for a little tour?
Yes. So I will start here with because here in this exhibition, I have emerging, mid-career, and confirmed. I start with Ezra Agigi, who's a calligrapher. And in Iran, we have about 4,000 women calligraphers. She's art calligrapher, and she's now one of the most famous one. Her works are in museums in Qatar, in Saudi Arabia, in British Museum, in Malaysian Art Museum, and in every important collection internationally. What you see here, this piece is called Poetry. This work and another work over there, which is Kufic writing. This one are two perfect examples of traditional calligraphy. And what is important is this work is called Kaaba. And what is important about these works are how beautifully, and this calligraphy, this Kufic writing is a very masculine writing. It's very powerful. But then she was in an art residency in Paris, and she saw an exhibition of Soulage, French artist, and she got so inspired by Soulage that she took her work to another level of abstraction. And here, except here is all from the miswriting to the bigger writing, it says Ishq, which is love in Farsi. And she has really done a beautiful job trying to show us that how, for somebody who's worked with the traditional calligraphy, how she can take it to another level. There's another work of hers here. In Islam, God has 99 names. And this letter, Hey, is only one letter that she started from the center of the work. And as she works, she just turns the work around and she goes to the outskirts, and it becomes a complete abstraction. And what I love about this work is it reminds me a lot of Le Petit Prince d'Exupéry. It's just like the little planet of Exupéry. And comparing these two works, one very traditional Kufic writing, and then this total abstraction from one letter that has been repeated, it brings her to another level. Next to Azra, we have the Andy Warhol, the pop artist in Iran that he's 44. He was 2 years old when the Iranian Revolution happened, and he uses the one image. This is a serigraphy, and he uses one image of these always popular images. This person, Susan, was a cabaret singer before revolution, and what he's done when he takes the original serigraphy and then he does mapping of the personality, part of her song. Then you have the person, who she was, where she came from, and all the people or the images or the personalities or events in her life that affected her. So here we have the Edith Piaf of Iran or Tina Turner of Iran. Here we got a wrestler who's he was like a hero in Iran. And at the time, like before the revolution, he'd been to Helsinki, to Melbourne, to Tokyo. And each time he would come back with a gold medal and people loved him. Again, it's a unique copy and it's a serigraphy with all the name of the people, his family members, his wife, the people who he was influenced and inspired from, and where he went to school. And, again, you will see a really beautiful, not all the details about his life. And this one here is like a Johnny Holiday of Iran, Iraj, who's again popular. The artist again puts the part of his song, and like he was in love or whatever he had. Like there's a lot of his songs. Or we have this stone lion below, which is also part of the Iranian old part of our flag. There was a lion on the flag. And so again, it's about him. And what I like about him, he just really creates from maybe images of popular artists, but he creates something different and it's very pop and it's very like Andy Warhol of Iran. On this wall,
Mojgan,
yes.
Mojgan,
Yes.
could you show us 1 second, because we said you have 16 artists here, but can you show us
Yes.
the space? Because
Yeah. The space. The space is huge.
Just to show us a bit the incredible space. And now it's actually 9 o'clock at your time, yes?
Yes, 9/7.
9/7, so quite late because the other day we
No,
saw.
it's okay. It's okay because this space is this place belongs to Amar and is a co-working place and it's open 7 days a week from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. So we're okay with the time and it's not too late. Here we have an exhibition. I have three fiber artists, three artists who work on textile. And she got a grant at Chicago Art Institute. And before going to Chicago, she worked in art residency. I found her art residency at Palma, Mallorca. And she worked 3 months on the art residency in Palma, Mallorca. And then she went to Chicago Art Institute. You see the color red. She has a lot of influence of Louis Bourgeois. And you can see that this color red especially is very Louis Bourgeois. And she's feminist, and in her work, you don't see the gender actually very much. And it's feminism, it's gender issues. And now she's an assistant professor at Chicago Art Institute. And what is amazing about her work is that she wants to show the raw side of her work. So she really likes it. I mean, this one is framed, but she doesn't want us to frame it because she wants you to see the raw. And this is much stronger work than when you see the back. And just different.
Mojgan,
So
sorry,
we
can't hear you very well again, Mojgan.
She wanted to ask a question, I guess.
Yes, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. If you can
put them in very well.
Yes.
I cannot. Can you hear me? I
Yes,
think she doesn't hear
now
me.
we can hear you. The voice.
Too far.
Yes, the voice was a
I
bit.
think she should be very close to the phone. So if you be close to the phone, we can hear you.
Can you hear me now?
That's
Can you hear me, Mojgan?
good.
We
Can
can.
you hear me?
We lost. Okay, now we're back again. No?
Yes, we
Hello?
can. We can hear you. Yes.
Okay.
Perfect.
Okay. Did you miss some of the things I said about the fiber artist?
I think it was about to
Finish.
Yeah, about to
Okay.
finish. Just
Okay.
it's important because I can't. You can't hear me, so
No, now I can hear you. Now here we have another artist. She's a girl and she graduated from her master's she did in Sweden. And what is important is that these photos come from a video. And what she's done, she's printed the photos, and she has put nails and strings. And it's like a game that they do in Middle East. They put the nail under the skin, and the game became a trap. Can you hear me? Yeah. So the game became a trap, and now she's a very conceptual artist, and she works very, very regularly, and we are very proud to present her work. At the end, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Hello.
We
Good,
do.
good.
We do.
At the end, here we have a young artist who went to American University here in Dubai, and this work was done. This is good. This work was done during the Corona when she was in confinement, and the color, the background, the color she's used just to show that even at the worst situation, you know, like this paper looks like a crumbled paper, and it could be a love letter with that, or like papier de bonbon, you know, like the cover of the sweets. And she said we have to always give a new life and have hope with the new things that can happen. So she hasn't given up during this Corona time, and she's made from something very simple, maybe very ordinary, something beautiful, and we're very happy to have her here. She studied here in Dubai. This work here, this work, I want you to see, this artist, we also exhibited him in Basel Art Fair, and he's really doing well, and he is exhibiting in the US and Australia, and I think he was at Art Asia this, just not a few, like I think is this finishing at the same time as Fiat. This work, and here, two more works are his work, and he has a different vocabulary. He has definitely a Western vocabulary for his work, and the two works are from the same artist, like the one I showed you there. This one is probably more easy reading. This one with the colors and the quantity of the objects there has made it more probably profound, and we have to look deeper to see what he says. But he definitely wants to have his own language, and he doesn't want to follow any of the regular. You know, like he just wants to be independent, and he wants to be unique in his work. Can you still hear me? Perfect.
Yes, yes.
Okay, good. Here again, we have two works that are calligraphy, but this one, we need to come closer, because what the artist has done, the artist has taken a sharp object and pressed behind the canvas, and he made it convex or concave. He's brought out the letters. The letters, maybe if you can come closer on the side so they can see that c'est relief. You know, he's created this space, like the work, the letter has come out of the canvas. And this artist, again, like the other artist who did calligraphy, wants to take the calligraphy, which is something very traditional, to another level. So choosing the color pink is making it more pop art. And the title is Hippie Happy. And this one is in a gold color. Again, he says, this artist and the other artist, they both agree on the fact that if the viewers are Westerner and they cannot read Arabic or Farsi, just the movement is beautiful for them. It's like I have had Japanese artists work with the calligraphy, even though I don't understand what they say, but it's still, for me, is beautiful to look at. Same thing, but the choice of color gold and pink is to bring the color, the work to another level and take them out of the academic context. Now, this is one of my favorite artists with his surreal work. And what I'm so proud of this individual artist that I'm showing, except the two calligraphy, in this exhibition, there's nothing that shows the identity of the artist, where they come from. And in Iran, the artists, especially this artist, he was very, very attached to literature, to the existentialism, and to philosophy. And he started as a street artist, but he was not strong enough. He didn't have enough tattoo. So each time he would go to the streets, he would be beaten up by the bigger guys. So he would come back to his studio and he would make this amazing work. but he says people wear masks. He says these are not their face, it's the mask, because you can see how hollow it is in back. And he does such an amazing job. And like children, on Fridays, we always have children who come for a tour of the exhibition, and they choose artworks to paint from. This is one of the favorite subjects of the children, and all the art students who come to the exhibition, they're fascinated by command of this artist, the way he painted, the choice of colors, and the subject. And like, I really love it, because like the flowers are sort of turning your head away, not to see what he's trying to tell us.
Is it possible to have a detail of the eyes, on the big?
Yes. Yeah, can we go closer? And when you look at the eyes, I discovered this not long ago. It's like a camera that is looking on the street. Like if you have a camera, it looks on, there is a reflection. We see a reflection of the image of the street. Like if you're looking from a camera from inside, it's really, really detailed.
It is quite impressive. And also the story. There is always the story behind the painting, which is...
After the exhibition, I will send you a link, or you can share the link of my exhibition with your friends and the viewers, and for them to see the variety of the work, because I could not put more than this in this exhibition. This artist also has a lot of inspiration from Basquiat. I could say he's the Iranian Basquiat, Jean-Michel Basquiat. Here we come back to this side where with the younger artists.
Yes. Mojgan, how long will it be, the exhibition? Because it started already.
It started on the 20th of September and it will finish in the 20th of November. So it's for 2 months, but today we are the 3rd, so another 17 days. Here we have 7 artists. Here we have 1 here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This artist, he's a fine artist, but the subjects of his work is always bitter, probably, and very real. He's like a journal. He's like the one who has the pulse of the society. So this first series that I showed in a museum in Switzerland was about the Iranian and Iraq war. And one lady came from the exhibition, one Swiss lady, and says, "Why can't you show us an artwork that has more hope?" And then we decided to do an exhibition called Good News from Iran. And we invited some artists, and we tried to have artworks that are not as difficult and show some hope. So we choose these artists to come as guest artists. What is impressive about this one is the artist, she's done oil on canvas, but it is she's used the negative of a photo to show us the memories. It's somebody's 15th birthday, and now everything is digital. We take a picture and then we forget very quickly. But she sort of captured that memories from that inspiration from this negative of a photo. Here we have a very talented artist as well, who children love. And like this little man, this little fox who's playing the piano, the funny lion who has a funny face, and the man with the rainbow color who's making faces. I love the rawness of his work, and I love all the smudges he has. He's kept that child in him to be so creative and to show us such a beautiful work. Then here again, I have 2 more fiber artists. This series is called Invisible Forest Series, and you have mascots. You have a parrot, and you have a horse, and you have this here. And this is talking about the patriarchal and matriarchal society. In the Middle East, in Africa, in China, in India, men are, in our societies, men have the power, they are the decision makers. But as women get older, they become matriarchal. Or like we have a society that has inner and outer, like patriarchal society outside and matriarchal society inside. So these animals that the artist has done with the beads is the weight and the pressure from this society, patriarchal and matriarchal society. And I think for the younger generation, it's very difficult to accept this. At our I'm 62. At the time, I never questioned anything, but now young people question everything, so they don't want to have this, and they want to rebel against it. This is also another guest artist who we invited to the Good News from Iran. And I love it. When we have children who come to the exhibition, they love to count all the bunnies or all these tears or whatever, this paisley on here and the numbers of the mouth. So it's a really funny, again, pop art for the young people who come. This young woman, again, she's a fiber artist. And so she prints the photos on textile. She's a very beautiful girl, and her grandfather says girls are beautiful like flowers, but they're not to be seen. So her interpretation is to do an embroidery on the girl's face, so we don't see them, even though they're beautiful as flowers. And here she has done an chest X-ray from a woman's chest and a man's chest, and the birds are the sign of life. These two works of hers had a lot of success in an exhibition we had in Munich in a museum. And her work, again, very feminist in a sense that even though the embroidery and the textile art has been one of the oldest for women in all countries and in societies. But what I like about this new generation in Iran, that they have their own brands and their own imagination and their own way of doing it with a different language. We need to have a closer look for this one. This one is a very, very special artist. She was born and raised in Paris of Iranian parents. It's a very miniature work. And you can see that there's Arc de Triomphe, then all the monuments in Iran. She was far from her mother, so she always needed she was thinking about the plane, and all the birds were like, they inspire hope. We have this Iranian Superman, Rostam, who's on a dinosaur. Then again, the same wrestler you saw earlier in the world is here because he was a hero. And she always needs heroes and, like amazing events to help her to come back to see her mother because she's based in Paris and she's far. Her work reminds me of a lot of Douanier Rousseau, and her work is also very miniature. So that it's okay. So if you look closely to her work, it's really like inches or centimeter by centimeter, there's detail. Here again, it's like she had, it says liberté, but when I ask her, life is beautiful. And I quickly thought it was Iranian, and it says ABC, P, blah, blah, blah. And I said to her, why? Is this about Iran? She says, no, her father married an Algerian woman after they were divorced, and she couldn't go out of her room, so that she was imprisoned almost. You see the artist in all her works. The little cat was her best friend. And then even though she had all these issues in her life, but she keeps a very happy and very, very hopeful image. Oops. I lost this again. Okay, I hope you can hear me. Yes. Here you see the Eiffel Tower in this work below, with a fish on the top. She really has all this, she's in her work here. And you see and I love to ask the children to count me the number of the cats and the fish. And, she has a lot of messages, dream, my life, I love my life. So she was inspired very much by Marjan Satrapi and the film Persepolis, which was about the Iranian Revolution. Now, the last of the work in the exhibition is this beautiful work here that this artist, she's American Iranian, and she was born and raised in the US. So she was in California, she was raised in California, and she used to go to high school with the skateboards. She took the American skateboards to Iran, to Isfahan, and they make this beautiful marqueterie, which is all the bone of a camel with the metal, with different color wood, and they make a very thick work from it, and they cut this superficially and they lay it here, and then they cover it to protect it, because the humidity is bad for this. But this this girl, she studied cultural diplomacy, and I think she made a bridge between Iranian and American culture, which is beautiful. The exhibition is finished, but for one of the artists, the one that I told you that is like the pop artist, we also have a neon work on the window of the Texas girl. In Iran,
Mojgan, yes.
Yeah.
Do you think you can show it to us from the outside?
Yes, but then it might get cut off. What we can do is we can show it in the reflection on the window, because I'm afraid if you go outside, we don't have the internet anymore.
I think it should work.
It should work. You're sure?
The palms that are, it's this reflection with the work of art. Which
Hopefully we don't lose our connection. Are we still? Can you hear me?
We are still there. We're still there.
Okay, so you see the Texas girl, Texas girl that is behind every truck in Iran. And it's funny, after the Iranian Revolution, we still have Texas girl. And then there's one more work here, which is the lion that was on the Iranian flag, the lion with the sun on his back. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you very well.
So you can see the lion with the sun on the back, and then we have the serigraphy of the lion, but normally this lion should be on horizontal, but the artist wanted to make it more contemporary, so he put it vertical. No, sorry, the other way. So, and also the people who made the neon could not make all the details of the letters because it was impossible.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you, Mojgan.